It feels like Amazon optimizes the product detail pages twice a year. And in this video, we'll go through the conversion-relevant changes you should know about, because these are really significant. I've opened a product detail page here for a piece of sports equipment. It's a back stretcher. That might sound a bit like a torture device, but it's actually part of the sports industry and is made by Sports Tech. The device is sold for €135 and has a modest 25% discount. So far, so good. So good. Down here in the lower section under Top Brand, I find more information about the brand. In this specific case, it shows that 91% of customers who bought this brand, not necessarily this product, but the brand, were satisfied with it, and that more than 10,000 units were sold within a certain period. What period that is, this display leaves us in the dark. But at least it already creates a bit of trust. That means first-time buyers who are purchasing a piece of sports equipment for the first time can check whether this is a well-known brand and whether it actually generates sales. And how satisfied are customers in general with this manufacturer? Makes sense. Makes sense. Then down here we have another section, similar products. And if the AI picked these, then that was a complete failure. Because as I already mentioned here, this is a back extension machine. And this here is an incline bench. So completely different muscle groups are being targeted or trained here. On the one hand, it's an Amazon Basics product. Make of that what you will. Now let's imagine that Sports Tech pays €2 per click for a potential customer to land on the product listing. And Amazon intercepts the customer here with a supposedly cheaper offer, which actually isn't comparable at all. Then, of course, this device costs €135. That's quite an investment for a back extension machine. And here, the incline bench from Amazon Basics costs €92.99. Of course, due to the huge price difference, the customer is very much encouraged to take a closer look at this device as well. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter whether I'm training my back or my chest. The main thing is that it's cheap. Unfortunately, that's the mindset of many customers on Amazon. That's pretty dramatic for Sports Tech, who are keeping the listing alive with a lot of advertising here. And then they're simply redirected to supposedly similar offers. This feature here is also very interesting. So I've pulled up a phone case here. In this case, it's for the iPhone 13, but that's not really the point. We're not selling phones here, but what I want to show you is this. At the end of the listing, there's a note saying that customers who buy this product usually keep it. Of course, that implies that the product is of extremely good quality, has a great fit, and is reasonably priced. And if you have such a note, it automatically increases the conversion rate, especially when the customer sees this note frequently during their research, and basically uses it as a benchmark. Because what's really unpleasant, and I've pulled up an example here, is this pull grip, which tends to get returned quite often. Here it actually says frequently returned item. For the customer, that of course means something is clearly wrong with it. Either it's the price or the size, perhaps the information provided is incorrect, or whatever else. That means the customer is made extremely insecure by this notification. This means two things. On the one hand, the customer might not buy it because they're not sure if it's actually good quality, or which is probably what Amazon intended with this notification, was to achieve this. The customer takes another close look. Is this product really what I need, or does it lack certain features? Or does it not fit my use case at all? In this case, I've selected size L. Maybe most people don't wear L. I can easily imagine that. Women who use this probably go for S&M, and real bodybuilders probably have hands like bears and need XL. And L, no one actually needs. It's like buying clothes. Most people underestimate their behinds. And they always order their underwear too small and then complain that the sizing isn't accurate. But actually, it was a misjudgment of their own reflection. That's what I'd call it. Interestingly, and you should take a closer look at this here as well, when I select a different variant, so in this case I chose L, if I now click on XL, then the item is now updated to this size and the overlay disappears here as well. My theory might not be so wrong after all. S&M are popular choices among women, XL. For the gym buffs and everyone in between, they don't need these things. Those are, let's say, the hobby Arnolds. They probably have no idea what they even need this stuff for anymore. Of course, it's a shame for the manufacturer because if I come to a listing and the first thing I see is that this item is frequently returned, I naturally assume it's because the product is generally faulty or not suitable for use, not that it's due to the specific variant. Amazon really needs to improve this. It could be that this item is frequently returned in this particular variant. Consider whether you might need a different size. That would be fair and would actually help reduce the return rate without hurting sales. Just a little idea from me. What's even more frustrating is, although I couldn't reproduce this myself because I actually took this as a screenshot from LinkedIn from Christian Otto Kellum. You'll find the link to Christian Otto Kellum's LinkedIn profile here in the video description. You should definitely remember and subscribe to his profile because he shares incredibly good and very detailed information. I'll get back to that in a moment. He actually has another great trick. Frequently returned products. And now there actually is, in these Dart files, a recommendation for which products are not returned as often. And for the seller, that's the ultimate penalty. That means my product is frequently returned. I spend a lot of money on advertising for it. And then right below, the competition. The competition is linked because these products are supposedly better since their return rate is lower. How mean is that? I saw that. Unfortunately, I couldn't reproduce it for this video. However, there were only alternative products from the same seller. Okay, that fits. There I would say, okay, that's acceptable. But to display products from other sellers there when the item has a higher return rate, that's really unfair. But you absolutely have to keep an eye on this. And here too, it's always about the variations. With these darts, for example, I know that it also depends on the weight of the body up front here. And many people then order several weight classes to pick out the one that suits them best. The rest gets sent back. That means I order the whole range and only keep the standard one. So I send back the ones with the high and low weights. Of course, those have a higher return rate. That should be obvious to you. So please, Amazon, please provide some more information here. What exactly was it? What was the reason for the return? Too heavy, too light, too big, too small? Selection order. The customer needs more context so they can even make a serious decision about whether the product might actually be suitable for them, even if the return rate is a bit higher now. Oh, one more very important thing before I forget. This whole thing is not being rolled out everywhere. Now here I am in Apple's Safari browser, and with the phone case we looked at earlier, you might remember that there was a message at the bottom saying customers usually keep this item. In Safari, for example, that message doesn't appear, but it could also be that there are different displays depending on geo-tracking, or depending on the time of day or data center. At the end of the day, these pop-ups are often very difficult to reproduce. And of course the mobile version as well, which at Amazon accounts for more than 50% of all purchases, also has a different display. That means reproducing all these features here is very tedious. And if you don't find it right away, it could look completely different again tomorrow. Let's move on to the last important change. And this is the killer feature that only ever drives your conversion down and never up. I also borrowed this screenshot from Christian Otto Kellum on LinkedIn. This is about Amazon, stating that they want to be as transparent as possible and always want only the best for the customer. And here it is shown that if an item is priced a bit higher than usual, this will be communicated to the customer accordingly. Amazon strives to offer customers attractive prices. Yes to the customers, but not to the sellers. And if this appears on your listing, you can assume that no customer will buy from you. It feels incredibly bad for the customer when an item is purchased at an inflated price. And you already know it in advance because Amazon tells you, hey, watch out, this price is too high. No one will buy it from you. And from my point of view, that's pretty unfair. You shouldn't do that. The customer is capable of making their own decisions and should know what the item is worth to them. But that's just my opinion. Of course, the customer thinks it's cool. I don't have to worry about that for long either. That I hear the item is more expensive than usual, and that's why I'm not going to buy it now. Or I'll buy an alternative item. If you're selling garlic presses or power banks, for example, there are countless competitors have exactly the same shape, the same color, the same features in their products because they're actually all made in the same factory. The customer isn't stupid, of course, they know that. And so they just pick a product that can be bought at a reasonable price. Let me know what you think about the features or the presentation on the Amazon detail pages. Is that fair? Does that help you, or is it even more of a reason for you to look around on other marketplaces, like TikTok, for example? This is an important topic because TikTok has recently started offering fulfillment as well. You'll find out more about that in the next video. That's why you should subscribe to the channel now. Let me know in the comments what you think about the product detail pages. And we'll talk again next time here on this channel.